We are honored to have Pankaj Pokharna from Anuvi Chemicals Limited, Resikon brand, who will present a talk on essential precautions and tips to prevent monsoon leakages. Pankaj Pokharna has 32 years of experience and expertise in waterproofing and structural repairs of building structures. He is the business head at Resikon brand. His research is on how to reduce defects in construction practices. He also provides training on effective tips for the maintenance of building before, during, and post monsoon against leakages. He has worked with various brands in the past, such as Dr.Fixt, Seal Malaysia, Rustoleum-USA, Bellinzoni-Italy, etc., across the India and abroad. So let's welcome Mr. Pankaj.
So when we are talking about pre-monsoon preventive measures, so the major area of occurrence of leakage, we will be covering three things: area of occurrence of leakage, reasons for the same, and rectification methods for the leakage, how to rectify them, and checklist for the prevention of the leakage. So major areas which are affecting the terrace are like terrace leakages. So reasons for terrace leakages, maybe there are the mother slab itself is a porous mother slab. There are cracks in the mother slab which are due to drying and shrinkage. There are improper slopes in the terrace. Then there is a rainwater outlet. The positions are either not correct or insufficient rainwater spouts as compared to the span of the terrace, or the terrace rainwater outlet are at upper level than the terrace floor, and the water gets stagnation over there. Also, when there is an absence of water or corner round of drip mold at the junction of parapet and wall, the floor of the terrace. There are also problems in the terrace which leads to leakage, which is the parapet plaster wall itself. The plaster on the parapet wall is porous, and it penetrates the slab and it leaks below the roof ceiling. Then there is the top of parapet coping. When the parapet wall, if there is no coping made on the top of the parapet wall, it will absorb water and create leakages below. The vertical upstands, there are so many vertical upstands which you can find on the terrace nowadays, which are used for erecting of antennas or your towers and so many other erections like solar panels. So if those openings which are made on the terrace and not properly sealed also leads to leakages. Then there is an improper or inadequate waterproofing system itself in place, that the terrace is not been waterproofed properly in previous, and it may leak in the monsoons. And then there are construction joints and expansion joints. So these are major points which leads to leakages on the terraces during monsoon or post monsoon. So these are the points which we should be taking care. I'll be taking all the points in the building, like terrace, then chhajjas, then walls, then. So this is first point from the top. So this is what is the major affecting area in monsoon, which is the terrace leakages. And question answer anybody can ask me after. I'll just cover the points first which leads to leakages. So the reasons are these which are enlisted here, that due to all these reasons there can be leakages in the terrace. All these reasons, or some of the reasons, or one of the reasons. Next, when we talk, it is external walls, which is also contributing to heavy leakages in the building. And what are the major reasons? So when we analyze, we find that the plaster of an external wall itself is weak, loose, debonded, porous. There are shrinkage cracks, lot of cracks which we see in the plasters. Also on the external wall there are chhajjas, window chhajjas. So on the chhajjas there are no slope provided, or slope is provided negatively. The water is again going towards the wall instead of falling outside. Then the chhajja has no drip mold. When you have a thickness of the chhajja, in the bottom you have to provide a drip mold so that water directly drip down. In absence of drip mold, the water will come with the bottom of the ceiling and enter into the windows below. So the drip mold is or pani patti we call in language, it should be there. Then plaster bands on the junction of each floor and wall. Nowadays you see there are so many junctions, so beam and then next beam and then masonry work, then next beam. So the junctions there you have to provide water, or this is known as patta. So that pattas are there to cover the joints. Then we have grooves on each floor junctions. Then joint of floor and brickwork itself within the framework in each room. you see there when the floor is done and when the brick masonry is taken to the ceiling, at the joint of the ceiling there is a gap and that always cracks. So that is the joint which we needs to be done. Also on external walls, you see when the windows are there, the frame of window and the masonry always have a joint. So the perimeter joint of the window needs to be sealed, otherwise that water will go into the aluminum section and the gap of the wall or concrete, and it will leak inside. So then there are so many plumbing outlets. Okay, so when we see the plumbing lines which are going inside the wall, from inside we seal it properly, but from outside it is not properly sealed. So when the water enters into that openings, it will enter in and create leakages in the walls. So plumbing joints and gabdas are there. Not only this plumbing, whenever we see there are air conditioners, so the AC pipes, ducts which are going inside, sometimes it is our antenna or what you say, cable joints which are coming from outside and going inside the wall. So hole is created to take the fittings inside. But once the fittings are taken inside, they are not sealed from outside. Because of the problem of the workers, they will not come out and hang from the jula or erect the scaffolding. From inside, they will fill POP and seal it. So these are the things which are affecting. So then so these are all. Then wall mounting, this antenna, these all joints which are put on the external walls. And sometimes in bungalows, they put the antennas and dish on the external wall only. And those joints and the fittings, they are corrode and create leakage inside. So these are the areas of external wall which creates leakages. Then there are sunken portions, swimming pools, tanks, internal toilet bathrooms which leaks. So all the pipes, plumbing joints, fitting joints, joints of the tiles, they all lead to nani traps, joints. Then flush water tank joints, these all leads to internal leakages. Then areas of internal leakages, we see porosity in the slab, brick walls, leakage from floor through wash area. So this area the water will spread and leak below the next floor in the ceiling of the lower floor from the upper floor. So these are the things which comes. Sometimes we see that sometimes people are washing the floors with ample of water. So even the area is not wet area, not toilet, bathroom, still in their bedroom, if they are putting lot of bucket of water, the floor joints are open, and as the joints of tiles are not done on concrete bed, so the below mortar, which is very porous, absorbs the water and leaks beneath, and that also gives a rise to the capillary action from the walls, from the junction of floor and walls. So there are areas which are leading to podium car parks, garden areas. So these are all basements also, we have porosity in slabs, honeycombing in concrete, expansion joints, construction joints, retaining wall leakages. Right now I am just naming the areas, so maybe little bit fast going, but we are just naming the areas which are like car lift, even our UG lifts, underground tanks. These all are the cause of concerns which increases in monsoon. So yes, then the second point is, like when we find out that these are the reasons, major reasons which are contributing to the leakage in the building in the monsoon area also. So then how to do the rectification? So generally major things are which we see is cracks. So whenever there are cracks in the buildings, whether it is on the roof, whether it is on the walls, whether it is on the parapet walls, in the floor, any area, wherever you find the cracks needs to be opened properly by mechanical grinder using 2 to 3 mm blade. When you open the crack, then you have to wash it properly, and after washing it, you have to fill it with flexible sealant. So the flexible crack fill sealant is there, which is in acrylic form. So it comes into white color. It can also be tinted to the color of choice so that it can match the existing walls color shade also. So when you fill it with that sealant, when it dries, it becomes flexible sealant. So whenever there is another expansion or contraction in the wall may expand or contract, but the sealant will not leave the edges of the wall and there will be no crack occurrence. So there will be no leakage through that crack. That's why we say it is a non-shrink acrylic waterproof crack filling compound. Right? So this is the complete description of the product which needs to be treated. The second point is After cracks, when you check the areas near the cracks and when you tap, certain times you find there is a hollow sound. So when you find a hollow sound, when you tap it, you find it that plaster is hollow, loose, debonded, and it comes out easily. Somewhere it has already fallen, broken, or sometimes it comes out when we check. So all those hollow plasters, loose plasters, debonded plasters shall be taken off, and a bond coat should be applied on the bottom, and then a regular new polymer modified mortar, means cement mortar with adding certain polymers in it, and you can do it rectification. With that you can finish the entire plaster, that means patch repairs wherever it is required, and after the repatch repairing, you can paint it with the elastomeric coatings so that it doesn't allow water from that repaired area. Third, when you find a way, we were talking about the slope is either on the chhaja or on the terrace. So if there is no proper slope, and when you see that the water is stagnant on the terrace or on the chhaja, then you have to break those areas. Then you have to put certain levels, you have to check the levels and create a slope. The slope should be minimum 1 in 100, means 1 inch in 100 meters. So it should be like that as a design, and then you create a slope so that whenever water comes on the terrace or chhaja, it runs off. It doesn't get stagnated over there and doesn't leak. So the slope has to be created and redone by breaking only. There is no another method to create a slope rather than breaking. Then whenever you see that there are shrinkage, expansion, all those type of things are happening, major leakages are coming on due to that parameter. So all the terraces and external walls, we always recommend to do a waterproof coating. The waterproof coating should have following properties. It should be heavy duty, it should be elastic so that it can expand and contract, it should be water resistant, it should be UV resistant, it should be resistant to algae and fungi growth. So when all these properties are there in a coating and you apply it on the terrace or on the walls, it will make your surface jointless waterproof coating with proper bonding on the surface. It will give a proper bond, it will make a uniform film, jointless film. So whenever there is an expansion, it will expand. Whenever there is a contraction, it will contract, but it will not crack, and your roof or wall chhajas will remain absolutely waterproof. There will be no leakages. Also, when you are getting a seamless film, in future, if there are some damages, they are identifiable because any crack or any rupture from the film will show you, okay, this is the damaged portion. So you have to rectify that much only. So your after maintenance and treatment process is very easy, simplified, and less time consuming. In very short time, you can re-rectify the damaged areas. So this is what we, coatings which are known as waterproof coatings to be applied on the terraces and external walls. Similarly, when we are talking for the openings of the plumbing ducts, the gabdas which are coming because of the AC air conditioner pipe going on gas pipe. So all these areas, if you repair with normal plaster, it will re-crack. So all these areas should be repaired with special concrete which is known as micro concrete, which is free flowable. So you have to apply, you have to clean that area with air blower, remove the loose dust, apply a polymer bond coat, and then pour or fill with micro concrete. This micro concrete is a free flow self-compacting mortar which will penetrate into the micro areas and seal it from inside. And again, because of the non-shrink property, it will not shrink and crack much. So all these plumbing ducts and these pipes should be repaired with micro concrete and again coated with elastomeric coating so that that area doesn't go again under the leakage problems. This is the rectification method for the plumbing gabdas and joints. And similarly, when we talk for window perimeters, again there is a gap. When you fill it with mortar or plaster, it reopens. So now, and there is a problem of bonding of plaster between aluminum section or glass or wood. Plaster will bond with plaster, brick or concrete easily, but not with the aluminum section or wood or glass. So in that case, we have to find a sealant. Now there are sealants which are available in the form of silicone also, but if you fill the silicone sealant, it cannot be painted. That's why now there are acrylic sealants which are coming in the way of tube also, which is like DIY. You can do it yourself also. You can fill the joints and then you can, if you want, you can paint it also. So it is over paintable so that your decoration does not go for a toss. So this is where you can rectify some of these problems which we discussed, like cracks, openings, then slopes, then micro concrete repairs, and elastomeric coatings. These are preliminary, elementary all products which will give you immediate relief in your monsoon. So what you need to do is you have to have a complete after this when you go to this, before that you have to have a checklist. So pre-monsoon preventive measures, what should be the checklist? What should you do right now at this stage? So the stage of checklist is like, first of all, inspect the terraces, inspect the rainwater pipes. If the rainwater pipes are chocked, you have to clean them up. And before rain, so that, and put water and check that the rainwater pipe is not chocked completely and water goes away. Secondly, you have to check the levels. If while during a water ponding test on the terrace, you find that water is stagnant near the rainwater pipe, and if you come to know that the rainwater pipe is above the roof level, then you have to lower down the pipe level. If you find that the water is stagnating in between the roof area, not on the pipe area, then you will have to check for the slope. And if it is a big problem, then you will have to go for a complete slope correction. If it is not stagnant, then also while you clean the terrace, you will find to know that there are certain cracks which are visible and certain cracks which are not visible, but when you wash, they are becoming visible to you. So then you have to do the crack treatment. So check for the crack washing. During washing, you will find hidden cracks also. So if the cracks are there, then you have to treat those cracks. Monsoon leakages are regular problems, and people can contact us for free advice on how to do, what to do. We can provide you with free advice, site visits, inspection, and give you the directions which needs to be done, and the clients can take the decision from there on. Thank you.